Welcome to this data analytics workshop. Okay, my name is Sophia. I'm very excited to have you with me today. Okay, so before we begin, if it is convenient for you, please turn on your camera. Okay, study has shown that we definitely focus much better and we learn much better if we turn on our cameras. Okay, besides, I can also use your company. I have my second monitor set up. Okay, so far I can only see myself and Pinchen. Okay, the rest of you, could you please turn on your camera? Okay, you're also shy. Okay, never mind. Okay. Um, okay, if you don't want to turn on the camera, that's totally fine as well. Okay. But I hope that you will have a good time. We will have a good time together. Okay? Okay. Okay, so first, I really want to thank you for coming today. Today is a Saturday, right? You could be sleeping in or having a nice brunch somewhere. As Uday Allen have said, 80% of success is showing up. I know I cannot see you, but please give yourself a round of applause for showing up. That's the first step of everything, right? Okay, so what are we going to cover today? Okay, first, we are going to look at some real life examples. How business use insights to make important decisions, right? Because this course is practical. It's supposed to help us to solve our real life problems. Okay, after that, we will get our hands dirty. We will look at a data set and we will use Python code to discover insights from this data set. Okay, and the last step that I will show you different options to continue your learning journey. Okay, I have different options for you. See which one is most suitable for you. Okay. Okay, and during this workshop, if you have any questions, feel free to type your questions in the chat. I will look at the chat window once in a while, then I will do my best to answer every question. Okay, but let's say in case if I miss any of the questions, please ask again at the end of the workshop. We will have a Q&A session. Okay, so far so good? Okay, good. Thank you, Pigeon. Okay. Oh, Rishan just joined. Okay, Rishan, welcome. Okay, we just started, so it's okay. Okay, so before we dive into the contents, is it okay that I share with you a little bit about myself? Okay, just so that you know I have the experience and I'm qualified to do this workshop with you. Okay, so as shared, my name is Sophia. I'm an adjunct trainer with Majors Institute. I also have my own business, which is Academy of Computing. Okay, so in terms of experience, I work in IT line for 14 years. For the past 6 years, I have been just focusing on training to help professionals to upskill and reskill. Okay, and I also have my community. I have built a community of 12,000 people where we learn coding together. I'm very grateful for that. Okay. And before we dive in, I want to do a little poll. Okay. So there's just one question in this poll. Okay. Are you able to see the question now? If you can see the question, please answer the question. Okay. So this question will help me to know your experience with coding. So later on, I will be able to customize the workshop to make it more beneficial for you. Okay. I have two more participants haven't voted yet. Okay. One more. Okay, I'm going to end the poll now and we look at the results. Okay, I'm going to share the results with you. Okay, so if you can see the results, we have quite a balanced group, right? Some of you have never written code before, some of you have some experience, and some of you are pretty comfortable with coding. Oh, that's very good. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you have experience or you don't have experience yet. So don't worry, later on we will cover the fundamentals before we cover data analytics, right? And we will keep the fundamentals short. We'll only cover those concepts that are relevant to data analytics, right? So if you don't have coding experience or very little coding experience, that will help you to build a foundation. If you are already comfortable with coding, that will serve as a quick refresh. Okay. Okay, so why are we talking about data analytics, right? Data analytics wasn't popular a couple of years ago when I was studying programming. Nobody talked about data analytics. It's only because there is so much data generated nowadays. Okay, if you look at all these numbers, okay, this amount of data is generated every minute of the day. Okay, look at the huge numbers. And these numbers are only for social media or those like big companies, right? Like Uber, like Amazon. But the fact is that every company, every individual is generating data all the time. If we have this huge amount of data, imagine if we can get some insights from this data. Maybe we want to understand our customers' patterns, right? How do they spend the money? Or what kind of videos they watch, like YouTube? What kind of music they listen to, like Spotify, right? We will be able to accelerate the growth of our business. And according to this US Bureau of Labor Statistics, data scientist is the fourth fastest growing occupation. It is projected to grow by 36% in 10 years. Right? That's a big number. And coming back to Singapore, this is a report published by the Straits Times. Data scientists see the largest pay growth in tech. Okay? And that's all because data analytics is needed in every industry. So whether you are from government, banking, education, healthcare, any industry that you name, we need data analytics. Okay, so far so good. Let me see. So far no questions yet. Okay. Okay, so have you heard of this diaper beer syndrome? Okay, if you have heard of this, can you put a one in the chat? If you haven't heard of this, please put a two in the chat. Let's see how many people have heard of this. Two, 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 two. Oh, most people haven't heard of this. Okay, which is good, right? Which is I can share with you later on. Okay, so most of you, Ben, Seren, Rishuan, Brian, Keith, Vincent, Gail, Pinjun, Kashvi, you have not heard of this syndrome before. Okay, so this actually happens at a retail chain. What they did is they put all their transaction data together and they want to analyze, see if they can find any correlation or any patterns in the data. And they have this most unexpected discovery. Okay, the correlation between the sales of diaper and the sales of beer. Right? It's very weird, right? If you ask anyone to predict this, it doesn't seem like these two are related. Okay, so this company did a lot of deep digging into the data. They also observed from the stores. They realized that this correlation exists because young parents, especially young fathers, they dash to the stores late night, okay, to buy diapers for their babies. And at the same time, they will grab some beers for themselves. Okay, so that's why there's a correlation. And this all thanks to data analytics, right? Imagine without this, if we just try to think about what correlation could exist in this data set, nobody will be able to predict this. Okay, and back to Singapore. Okay, we all know FairPrice launched the mobile app a few years ago, right? So now it not only have your transaction data, what products you buy, it also can track what products you browse on the mobile app. So when it comes to recommend products, it can be more personalized, right? Maybe I look at, oh, you actually look at this brand of cheese for very long, but you didn't buy. Maybe I will recommend this product for you, or I will offer a promotion for you to incentivize, right? To want you to buy. And with all this data, FairPrice is also be able to forecast, okay, forecast the demand, and they can optimize their stocks, right? So there is a lot of information FairPrice can get from this data. Okay? And it's not just business. If you look at our government, they are using this as well. Okay, like SkillsFuture. Okay, SkillsFuture analyze quite an amount of data. For example, they analyze job posting, they analyze salary reports, they also analyze industry growth. Okay, they use all this information to predict what skills or what jobs will be in high demand in the near future. And that will be the courses that get more funding, right? And not just in terms of prediction or reports, they also use the data to measure the effectiveness of their courses, right? So if I look at so many people after they are taking this course, they are able to get a new job or transfer to a different industry. Most likely in the next round of planning, these courses will get more funding. Right? So business, government, any industry, they use data analytics to make important business decisions. Okay, so far, any questions? Okay, no questions? Okay. Okay, so if no questions, we are going to come to the most exciting part. Okay, we are going to get our hands dirty. And for today, we are going to use Google Colab. There are many tools that you can use to write Python codes, but I find that Google Colab is the most beginner friendly. Okay, there are other tools if you want to explore, like Jupyter Notebook, which is the look and feel is very similar to Google Colab. Actually, Google Colab is like a customization of Jupyter Notebook. Okay, or PyCharm, Visual Studio, or Spider, there are many tools out there. But the best thing about Google Colab is that you don't need to install anything. It's on the cloud. Okay, all you need is a free Google account, which most of us have, right? Or all of us already have it. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to my Google Colab. Okay, so this is my music. Okay, so how do we access Google Colab? Okay, you can just type in Google Colab. Okay, you click here. Right. Okay, I already have something here, but I can also create a new notebook. Okay, so by the way, today we will be doing this together. Okay, because we have people with different experience. So I'll show you together how to do it. Okay, so now this is my new notebook. Okay, no title yet. I'll give it a title called PDA, Python Data Analytics, right? Okay, so let me make it bigger for you. Okay, I already have a cell here. Okay, if you see a triangle in front of the cell, that means this is where you can write your Python codes. Okay. There are two types of cells, right? Either you can write your code or you can put a text. Text is like your comments, right? Some explanation what you want to do. Okay, so maybe I'll add a text before this. Okay. As I said, we will do a quick run of Python fundamentals. Okay, so I can do like this. I have a text here. Or I can change this to a heading. Okay, I'll just need to add hashtag space. Okay, you can see it become much bigger. And later on, you will see that you will be able to see this as a table of contents. Okay, I'll show you in a short while. Okay, so Python fundamentals. If you have learned coding, you know that the first program you write for any coding language is always to print hello world, right? Okay, so Python is very straightforward. I'll just print hello world. Okay, you can click this triangle to run the code. Okay. Oh, too many sessions. Okay, it asked me to close some of the sessions. Let me see. Okay, let me just close. Okay. So that's one thing about. Okay, disconnect. Okay, that's one thing about Google Colab is that you can't have too many notebooks open, okay, because it's totally free, right? So I'm going to close this session. Okay, just close this session first. Okay. So let's run again. So the first time you run the code, it's a little bit slow, and you can see it's actually connecting to the Python engine on Google Colab. Okay. Okay, now it's already connected, so it gives you some RAM and disk. You can see the result here is hello world. Okay, so this is to print something. If I want to do some calculation, so you can just put your cursor here, click code. Right, maybe I want to do 1 plus 1. Okay, run this. Okay, you will get the result. Okay, or I can do decimal numbers as well, maybe 1.2 plus 3.4. Right, you get a float number. Okay, and if you look at this, I can have letters within the quotation. I can have whole numbers. I can also have decimal numbers. These are called different data types. Okay, so if I can put it here. We are talking about different data types. Okay, this is a string data type, hello world, something you put inside the quotation. Okay, these are whole numbers. Whole numbers in Python, we call them integers. Okay. Did I share my screen? Sorry, I think I lost my screen sharing. Are you able to see my screen? Looks like it's disconnected my screen.
Oh, I can see.
Okay, let me see. Can you let me know in the chat? Are you able to see my screen? Can see. Okay, good. I thought I lost it. Okay. So thank you for your response, Pinjun, Vincent, and Keith. Thank you. Okay, so whole numbers in Python, we call them integers. Okay, and these are decimal numbers. Decimal numbers in Python, we call them floats. Right, so these are all different data types. Okay, it allow us to print something or to do calculation. Okay, so another thing that we are going to need in Python data analytics is to import a library. Okay, so something we call it a library. Okay, so if I put a hashtag in the code, this become comments. Okay, comments meaning it's not code anymore. It's just some explanation or some notes for me. Okay, so what are libraries? Okay, imagine this. If I want you to generate a random number between 1 to 100, okay, are you able to do it? Okay, I'm not able to do it, right? Because it's very hard to do it. How do you make sure that the number you get from 1 to 100, between 1 to 100 is a random number? You probably need to be mathematician to write such code, right? So it's not easy to write. And a lot of people will need to use this function. So what happens is somebody has written a code and they make sure that this code is correct. Okay? Then they will put this as a library in Python. Every time I want to do this, I'll just use whatever is in the library. Yes, some of you know random, right? Okay, so this library is called random. If I want to use it, I will import random. Okay, import random, this is telling Python, I'm going to use this library. Please get it ready for me. Okay, so library, you can think of a library as a toolbox, right? It's a box, you have many tools inside. Anytime you want to use it, you just grab a tool instead of you try to invent the tool by yourself. Okay, so import random. If I want to get a random number, first I'll give it a name. Maybe I'll just call it random num. Okay, equal to, wow, you see Google Colab, it has already completed the code for me. Okay, so all we need to do is just to press the tab. Okay, press the tab, you will have the code. But the important thing is always check whether the code is correct. Okay, so import random. Okay, random range from 1 to 10. I want from 1 to 100, so I'll change this. Okay, give me a random number from 1 to 100. Okay, and I'll call this random number rand underscore num. After that, I'll print the random number. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so run the code. Okay, we get 58. This is our first random number. So if we run again, we get another number. So every time you run, it will give you a random number between 1 to 100. Okay, so far so good. Okay, I don't see any questions, so I'll assume that everybody is following, okay? Okay, so when you first started probably that you write the code and you are not sure whether this is correct or not, right? And you want some explanation. Okay, so don't worry about that. We have AI to help us. Okay, so if you look at this, there is a star here. Okay, this is Gemini, or you can access it from here. Gemini is the AI from Google, right? So if I click here, I have two options. I can either have Gemini to generate the code for us or to explain the code for us. The generation is already done, right? Now we can try to explain the code. Okay, you can see Gemini is thinking just like a human being. Okay, so it's going to explain. Okay, this line is the comment. Yes. Okay, let me make it this bigger. Okay, it's an import random. It's going to import the random library, make its functions available for us, right? Like make all the tools available. Okay, and this line, what does it do? It will generate a random number, random integer between 1 and 100. It even tells us that 1 is included, 100 is not included. Okay, and the last line is to print. Okay, so this explanation helps us to accelerate our learning. Okay, okay. Now we can also ask Gemini to generate more code for us. Okay, so first I will click this. I have a new cell, right? And you can see here, start coding or generate with AI. Okay, if you click this generate, okay, it will ask you what you want to generate. Okay, you can actually type in natural language. Okay, so maybe I will do, okay, generate 10 random numbers. Okay, so you just type in English, right? Then you click the generate. It will give you the code here. Wow, this is a little bit hard to understand. Okay, okay, I'll make it using a for loop. Okay? If you have a little bit experience, you know that for loop. I don't know whether they consider this is also a for loop, right? Okay. Okay, and put them in a list. Okay, I'll just try to find an example that is easier for you all. Okay, so generate 10 random numbers and put them in a list. Okay, you can see it even have all the comments to help you. Import random. Okay, this means that I'm going to create an empty list. Okay, random numbers equals to empty bracket. It's an empty list. Okay, for underscore in range 10, this means that I'm going to repeat 10 times. Okay, and look at the next line. This part is familiar, right? Range 1 to 100 is what we have here. That means I'm going to get a random number between 1 and 100. Okay, after that, I will append it to my list. So I will get a random number using this part. After that, I'll put a random number in the list. Right? And this for loop will ask me to do this line 10 times. Why this line? Because you see here, there are two spaces here. These two spaces is telling us that line 7 is inside the for loop, inside line 6, because it starts to the right of line 6. Okay, so I'm going to do this line for 10 times. So I will generate a random number 10 times, and every time I'll put this random number into my list. Okay, and our last line is line 9. If you look at line 9, vertically, it's aligned to line 6, which means line 9 is not part of the for loop. Okay, it's outside. Okay, look, let's run this. Okay, see, we have a list of 10 random numbers. Okay, if I run again, I'll get another list. So every time you run, it will give you 10 random numbers. Okay, so far so good? Okay, so if you are following, can you give me a thumb up in the chat? Okay, I want to make sure that I'm going at the pace that most of you are comfortable with. I don't think a thumb up. So am I going too fast or too slow? Can you let me know in the chat? Oh, I see a thumb up beside your name. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Pinjun and Jayamuthi. Okay, thank you. The rest? Oh, sorry, also give me a thumb up. Okay, thank you. The rest of you, do you find the pace okay? Risian also give me a thumb up. Okay, good, good. Thank you. Okay, I just want to make sure that because this workshop is all about you, right? So I want to make sure that I'm going at the pace that most of you are comfortable with. Okay. Okay, so by the way, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. Okay, I have it opened on my second monitor, so I will, every once in a while, I will take a look, see if there are any questions there. Okay, so far about fundamentals. Okay, that's all we need to know before we talk about data analytics. Okay, so the good thing when you change this to a heading, you can see there is an arrow here. If I click the arrow, it will collapse all the cells under Python fundamentals. Okay, now we can move on to a new section. Okay, so when it comes to data analytics, there are two broad categories we are going to cover. Okay, so first is data analysis. Okay, how come it's expanded again? Okay, let's click this. Okay, data analysis. That means I'm not looking at getting charts or graphs. Okay, I'm just looking at some facts, some data. Okay, and to do this, to analyze a data, first we need to have the data, right? Okay, I have prepared some data on my Google Drive. Okay, you can see there are several CSV files here. Okay, CSV is comma separated values, right? So I can show you in a minute. Okay, so first we have this fair price. Okay, this is a very small data set. I want to keep it small so that later on we can check the values, we understand how it works. But of course, I also have big data sets. Okay, so if I click this, okay, open with text editor. Okay, you will see why it's called CSV. Okay, you can see all the values are separated by comma. So it's CSV, comma, separated values. But it's very hard to read this way, right? This way is easier for computer to process and it doesn't take up so much space. Okay, but for us, if you want to take a look, you can just double click. Okay, this is how the data looks like in a table format. Okay, so in this file, we have 6 columns, right? And we have 20 records, right? It's 21, but the first line is the heading. Okay, so this is a small data set for us just to play with it. Okay. Then I also have a large data set. Okay, this is huge. Okay, actually it takes quite a while to load this file. You can see there are 40,000, more than 40,000 rows in this data set. Okay, so it takes a while to load. Okay. Okay, let's close this. Later we can look at this in Python. It's much faster than you view on the computer. Okay, so all my things are here. Okay, and this is my code, right? And my data is in this file. Okay, to make easier, okay, I'll just drag my code to the same folder. But of course, it also works in different folders. Okay, now we just want to make it easier because we only have 1.5 hours, right? So this is our code. Okay, I'm going to drag it to the same folder. Okay, so this folder, this is my code, and this is my data, right? Okay, so first thing, from this code, I want to read this CSV file. Okay, how are we going to read it? Okay, first thing we need to do is we need to mount the Google Drive. Okay, to save time, I'll just copy the code here. Okay, so I'll run this. Okay, it will ask your permission to allow this notebook to connect to your Google Drive. Okay, so connect to Google Drive. Choose your Google account. Right, continue. Continue. Okay, it will see, it tells you that Google Drive is mounted. So mounted meaning you can access the file. Okay, you can access the file because Google Drive is in the cloud, right? But now you can just access the file like it's on your computer. Okay, now we can access the file. Our next step is I'm going to read the file. Okay, to read any files and analyze it, Okay, we need another library. Okay, just like a random, but this time, this library is called pandas. Okay, I think I actually created a cell. Okay, so import pandas. Pandas is probably the most important library if you want to do data analytics. Okay, import pandas. Okay, we can also give these pandas a short name. Okay, so most people will call it PD. Okay, so PD is like a nickname for pandas. Okay, if you look at below when we do random, okay, if I import random, every time I want to use something in random, I need to do random dot. Right? Every time I want to use, I need to put random dot, which is a bit troublesome. Okay, so if I give this a short name, below I'll just use a short name. Okay. Now the next line, I'm going to read from the CSV file. Okay, so let's put it here. Okay, I'll explain to you how this looks like. Okay, so pandas read CSV. It's very straightforward, right? Read CSV, that means I'm going to read that CSV file. Okay, and you must tell Python where this file exists. So it's in my Google Drive, under Colab notebooks, okay, under this folder, right? And this is the name of the file. Oh, shouldn't be this. Okay, we want to use the smaller one for analysis first. Fair price underscore sales. Okay, so we will do fair price underscore sales. Okay, now we're going to read the data from this file. After we read this data, we want to give this data a name. So later on, we can always refer to the data, right? We'll call this data DF. Okay, why I call it DF? Because it's actually something called data frame. Okay, so DF is a short form for data frame. Okay, we try all kinds of means to make it easier. Okay, I'm going to read the data from this CSV and I'll call this data DF. Okay, let's run the code. Oh, okay. I think somehow I deleted the PD. Okay, never mind. Okay, so no errors. It took 1 second to run the code. Okay, now we want to look at how this DF looks like, right? Does it read all the data from the CSV correctly? Okay, add another cell and just do DF. Run. Okay, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns, 20 rows, right? 19. Now we start from 0. Okay, you just double check. 6 columns, 20 records. Okay, it basically reads everything from this file and it called it DF, so data frame. If you look at data frame, it's just like a table, right? It's just in pandas, we don't call it table, we call it data frame. Okay, so far so good? Okay. Okay, so in this data frame, we have 20 records. Sometimes I may not want to see all the records, right? I want to see probably a few records just to get me started. Or if my data set is huge, I have 40,000 rows, I don't want to see all the rows here. Okay, I see a question. I will answer in a minute. Okay. Okay, so if I want to just see a few rows, I'll do df.head. Okay, this will give us the first 5 rows. Or I can do df tail, will give us the last 5 rows. Or you can specify, maybe I want 8 rows, right? I'll do 8. It will give me 8 rows. Okay, so this will give you an idea how the data looks like. Okay, so, okay, let me answer the question in the chat. Okay, so happy to finally see some questions. Okay, please feel free to answer questions. Okay, why is called pandas? Okay, there's actually a full name for pandas. I think it's panel something dashboard. Okay, let's try this. Okay, Gemini, you can just ask here. What is the full form of pandas? Let's see whether it knows. Okay, run this. Okay, pandas stands for panel data. Okay, so it's pandas. Yeah, it's a very weird name, right? Okay, the next question, what if you want to read Excel or CSV file from your file explorer? Okay, so it will be the same. For example, if Okay, let me see if I have some data on my hard drive. Okay. Okay, downloads. Okay, so I have some data here, right? Okay, I'll just give it a short name so it's easier. Okay, I just call a.csv. Okay, so you need to find the location, which Mac we use get info, right? Let me see. How do I get the location of this? Get info, I should be able to see the why it doesn't show me the location. Okay, so okay, never mind. I'll show you how to do it. Where is my okay? So if I read it from the Google Drive, I need to mount, then I need to do this, right? But if I'm going to read from my own computer, I don't need to mount because my computer, the hard disk is already there. Okay, oh, I accidentally clicked this. Okay, let me add a cell. Okay, so what you can do is it will be something similar. Okay, so I'll put it here. Maybe I want to read something in my C drive. Okay, okay, I'll do C. Okay, maybe it's in my downloads. Okay, I don't have a C drive because I'm using Mac, so I just show you how it works. Okay, then you put like a.csv, right? So you just put the location of your file. It's the same as Google Drive. Okay, or if you want to read Excel file, right? So okay, it will be okay. It won't be read CSV. Actually, you can look at all the things you can do here. Okay, so you can see here, read Excel. This is how you read an Excel file. You can even read from a database. Okay, so every time you want to see what you can use, you just put a dot. Just wait for a few seconds. It will show you everything you can use. Okay, so it's a long list, right? But usually we will only need to use a couple of them very often. Usually I'll read Excel or read CSV. Okay, the rest we seldom use it. Okay, so another question. Oh, where you can get my data. Okay. After this session, I'm going to upload the recording and also my data and the codes that we are doing together to my social media and also to the social media of Majors Institute. Okay, so you will be able to test it. Okay, by the way, this sample data, right? This sample data I created using ChatGPT. Okay, later I'll show you how to do it. Okay, I'll also show you some websites that you can download huge data, like tens thousands of rows of data. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for the questions. I'll be looking forward to your questions all the time. Okay, so please feel free to put your questions in the chat. Okay. Okay, so now I have a taste of how my data looks like, right? And you can also do this like df.shape. Okay, it will tell you you have 20 rows, 6 columns. Or you can do df.info. Okay, info will tell you these are all your columns. So my first column is transaction ID, second column customer ID, product category. It will tell me that for each column, how many values I have. Okay, not none. None meaning the value is missing, right? Not none, that means the value exists. I have 20 values exist in the transaction ID column. And this is the data type, whether it's an object or it's an integer, it's a float. Okay, so far so good. Does shape include the header row? Okay, so this shape, it doesn't include the header row. This is all about the data because the header is not considered as part of the data. Okay. Okay, so now I have a basic idea of my data. Now I want to do more. Okay, if you look at this data, right, I have all the transactions, I have the quantity and the price. But if I'm the owner of the shop, what I'm really interested is for each transaction, how much revenue it generates. Okay, so I want to add a new column to look at the revenue for each transaction. And the revenue will be the quantity times the price, right? So I'm going to add a new column now. Okay, how do we add a new column? Okay, you can do df every time you want to access a column, you always use the square bracket. Okay, you can see once I put a square bracket, these are all the columns shown here. It's really, coding nowadays is really much easier than like 20 years ago. Okay, so, but I don't want any of these columns. I want to add a new column, right? So I will do, maybe I will do amount. Okay, so because amount doesn't exist in this table yet. So what it does is it will add a new column called amount. And because we are adding a new column, so we must tell Python what kind of data I want to put in this column, right? And it equals to, okay, amount should be quantity times price, right? Remember in Python, we can do calculation. So if we come back, wow, it has different kinds of suggestions. Okay, but unfortunately, none of this is correct. Okay, so that's one thing about AI is that you really have to have the ability to tell whether the code generated by AI is correct or not. Okay, so my amount actually should be my quantity, right, times my price, right? Quantity times price, that's amount. So we run this, okay, no errors, but we want to see whether this new column is really added. Okay, so let's print df. Okay, you can see we have a new column here, amount, and check the value. So the first one is 25, which is 2 times 12.5, right? Is correct. Okay, so now I have a new column. I'm able to look at the amount for each transaction. Okay, now maybe I want to look at the total revenue from all these transactions. Okay, the total revenue will be the sum of all the values in the amount column, right? Okay, so I will do, okay, df, first get this amount column. Okay, then I'll do a sum. Okay, you can see from all these numbers, okay, I earn $214.3. Okay, or I want to look at the maximum amount across all the transactions. Okay, so I can do df amount dot max. Okay, oh, so the largest amount from all the transactions is only 37.5, right? So this is a data analysis part. But if you think about from business perspective, if I look at this number, it's a bit low, right? So I'm going to think about what can I do to increase this number so that for every transaction, customer spends more, right? So that's how this insight is able to help you to think about your business strategies. Okay, I know this is a very simple example, but for complex real life examples, it works the same way. Okay. Okay, it's almost 12. Okay, there are many other things that we can do with data analysis. Okay, but because of the timing, I'm thinking let's move on to visualization. Okay, so again, I'm going to add a text. Okay, add a heading, data visualization. Okay, I'm going to draw some charts, right? Now I only have 20 rows, it's easier to tell, but if I have a lot of data, it will be much easier to draw a chart, especially for my higher management. Okay, so if I look at this, what I'm going to do, maybe I want to find out which category is selling well, right? I have different categories, but I want to find out which category is selling well. Either I want to boost some categories, or maybe if some categories really the performance is too bad, maybe I just want to remove those categories. Okay, so to do that, we must be able to tell the amount for each category, right? It's no longer about the transactions. So for example, we have grocery here. I also have grocery here. I need to add up all the numbers for grocery. So I can look at grocery as a category. How does it perform? Okay, so to do that, we will do df. Okay, first we need to do a group by. Okay, I don't want to group by product. I want to group by category. Okay, so I'll group by the category. So for each category, I have this set of rows. And what I'm interested in is the total amount for each set category. So I will just zoom in to this amount column. Okay, and I'll do a sum of this column. Okay, so this means I will group the records by category. So each category, I have a number of records, right? And for these records, I'm not interested in other columns. I only want to look at the amount column, and I want to do a sum of this amount column. Okay, so this is our result. You see all the categories here. For each category, we have the total amount. Okay, now I want to find out which one. When I have only this number of categories, I can easily tell it's this one, right? But what if it's a long list? Okay, what you can do, okay, if instead of manually find out which one is performing well, I can also sort all this. So I'll do sort values, okay, by equal to, oh, not by equal to, so sort values ascending equal to false. So I will sort all these values in a descending order. Okay, so run this. You can see now it goes from the highest amount to lowest amount. Okay, I have a good question in the chat. What is the difference between a small bracket and a square bracket? Wow, that's a very good question. Okay, square bracket, okay, in terms of pandas, okay, square bracket is used to access a column. So if I put a square bracket, I put something inside. That means I want to look at this column. Okay, small bracket, okay, if you learn Python coding, small bracket, inside the bracket is actually a parameter. Oh, I actually drag something, okay? It's called a parameter. So this is a method. Okay, in method, we have parameters. Okay, so for now, if you don't know about methods, parameters, you can just remember, if I want to get a column, I will use a square bracket, right? Otherwise, I will use a small bracket. Okay, okay, that's a very good question. Okay, okay, so now it's still in table format, right? And we said that we want a chart. Okay, so how do we draw a chart for this? Okay, to draw a chart, we need a different library. Okay, so pandas is more for analysis. If you want to draw a chart, there are two different libraries. And today we are going to use one which is called matplot library. So let's import this library first. Import matplot library. Okay, so you see it's all down here. It's very fast. You just need to press the tab. Okay, and matplot library is a huge library. So usually we don't import the whole library, it's too huge. I'll just import this portion, Python plot. Okay, and I'll give it a short name called PLT. This will help me to draw charts. Okay, now the charts we are going to draw is going to be based on this data, right? I want to draw for each category, I want to see the amount. Maybe I will use a bar chart, right? Bar chart looks good for this scenario, okay? So because I'm going to draw a chart using this data, so I'm going to copy it. Okay, copy it, put it here. Okay, oh, I didn't copy it. I didn't copy everything. Okay, so I don't want this. Okay, so this is what we did here, right? I'll copy it down below, but I want to give this a name so that later on, when I draw the chart, I can tell Python I want to use that data. Okay, so let's call this category revenue, right? Because it's about the revenue for each category. Okay, so I have this data. Category revenue is basically this data, right? And I want to draw a chart. Okay, how are we going to draw a chart? I'll do plt dot bar. I want to draw a bar chart, right? Okay. Wow, it's already have it here. Okay, so I'll just let it finish. Okay, we'll look at the chart, now I'll explain the code to you. Okay, so if you look at the chart, these are all my categories, right? And the Y dimension is the revenue for each category, right? Is it easier to look at the chart rather than look at the table, right? So you can not only see which category is performing well, which one is not performing well, you can also see the difference. Okay, so that's the power of a chart. Okay, now this is a very basic chart. Of course, you can add a title, you can add all kinds of things. Okay, so maybe I will do plt dot title revenue by category. Okay, and the Y dimension, there is no labels, right? It's like if for someone who doesn't know what we are doing, they don't understand the chart. So we will do PLT dot, okay, it's all here, you see. X label, category, Y label, revenue. Okay, let's run this again. Okay, we have a better chart. Okay, so it tells us that this dimension are all the categories, right? This dimension is the revenue for each category, and this is about the revenue by categories. Okay, not that difficult with the help of AI, right? Okay, so this is the bar chart. I can also use the same data, but this time I want to draw a pie chart. Pie chart usually shows the percentage of each category. Okay, so if I want to draw a pie chart, okay, it's going to be slightly different, right? So I will just copy the code here. Okay, now I think about which part I need to change. Okay, I still need to do the group by, but instead of bar chart, I'll do a pie chart. Okay, wow, you see it's already down here. I draw a pie chart. Okay, pie chart doesn't need labels. Okay, let's see how it looks like. Okay, so this is my pie chart. Revenue by category, it's the same title, we can still use it, right? So it shows grocery contributes to 44%, bakery only contributes to 1.9%. Okay, if you look at the code, it's a pie chart, okay, using category revenue, which is this table, right? The labels, okay, these are the labels for a pie chart. The labels are category revenue index. So what does this part mean? Okay, if you go back to category revenue, okay, this is our category revenue. Okay, the index are the categories, right? The values are this amount. Okay, that means I want to use the different categories as my labels. Okay, so, okay, let's go back to the pie chart. Okay, I want to use the different categories as my labels. Okay, this shows how you want to format the percentage, right? Pie chart is most of the time is about percentage. Okay, this is telling us that I want 1 decimal point for the percentage. That's why you only see 1 decimal point here. Okay, is it nice? Okay, let me see the question. Is it possible to improve? Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. So the question is it possible to improve how this looks like? Yes, definitely. You can even specify which color you want for each portion. Okay, so there are a lot of things you can change. It's highly customizable. Okay, but I think due to the time, we may not be able to show it. Okay, so far we have been working on this super small data set. Okay, of course, this also works on a huge data set. I don't think we have time to show that, but I don't think we have time to work on those codes, but I will show you because I have prepared here. Okay, so this is the other CSV file, which has more than 40,000 rows. Okay, it's a big data set. Okay, you can see when you print this data frame, it will just show you the first 5 and the last 5, right? Because it can't show you all the 40,000. And it has like so many columns. Okay. And we can use shape to tell I have 43,000 rows, 17 columns. Okay, so all this we have done before, but I want to show you the different charts that we can do. Okay, for example, this one. Okay, even smaller. Okay, I can show the number of transactions by product category. So these are all my categories. These are the number of transactions for each category. Oh, just happened that this one I had is a good example to show you how to change the colors. Okay, you can see I do a PLT bar, a bar chart, right? I can specify what colors I want to use. Sky blue, light coral, that's why you have a different color here. Okay. Okay, so this is by category. Okay, I can also show the value over time. So for all these 5 categories, I can show the change, the number for the past 5 years, right? So I can see that which category is the sales number is going up, which category is going down. Okay, or I can, this, what happened here? Okay, let me try. Okay, it's a bit, oh, okay, just now I disconnect, right? Because Google Colab says I have too many sessions. Okay, so it takes a while to connect. Or I can show a line chart. Right, so this is my total revenue across the years. Okay, 2023, the number dropped deeply, but it's very glad to see that 2024, it comes back. Right? Or I can do a pie chart. Okay, so there are a lot of different types of charts that you can really do. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so I know I promised to show you where you can get large set of data, right? Okay, oh, let's do a small set first. Okay, so this is my ChatGPT. Okay, if you just want some like 10, 20 rows of data, right? Keep it simple for you to do your practice. You can do this. Create a sample data set for me to practice pandas. Okay, just let it run. Why it's not responding? Okay. Why it wants to use my microphone is weird. Oh, another question, can we explore other libraries? Yes, there are many other libraries. Another library that you can use to draw is called Seaborn. Okay, Seaborn usually has better visuals. Okay, you can see these are like very scientific charts. Okay, you can look at the gallery. Wow, it's like amazing. You can do whatever you can think. There's a way to do it. Okay, now let's come back. Hope ChatGPT. Okay, it's what does it do? Okay, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. ChatGPT is not working so well nowadays. Okay, let me try again. Much nicer. Yeah, Seaborn is much nicer. But I would suggest that if you don't know Matplotlib library, learn Matplotlib library first, then learn Seaborn. Matplotlib library is a little easier, and Seaborn is actually built on top of Matplotlib library. Okay, wow, it's really slow. Okay, another AI you can try is Claude. Okay, so Claude is also very good, especially for coding. Okay, let's try Claude. Create a sample data set for me to practice pandas. Hopefully it's a little bit faster. Oh, it actually gave us the code to generate the data set. Okay, let's see. Okay, you can see here, right? All the different products, their categories, price. It's also a bit slow. GPT? GPT is still hang. Okay, come on, faster. Okay, maybe it's time to pay money to GPT. The free version is really slow these days. Okay, never mind. While the Claude is generating, is it? I think it's almost done. Let's see. Okay, save to CSV file. Okay, good. Oh, wow. Claude generates 1,000 transactions for us. That's why it takes a while. Okay. Does it allow us to download the CSV? Okay, so this is the code, right? But I don't want the code. I just want the data. Okay. Can you generate a sample data set with 10 rows and show me the data only, not the code? Okay, let's see whether it works. Okay, I haven't tried this before. Okay, usually GPT works. Okay, but today it's like, it still give us the code. Okay, let's see if it give us the data. Oh, okay. Finally, it gave us the data here. Okay. You can see it's actually very similar to our sample data set. Okay, you can use this. Or if you want large data sets, okay, there are two very good source for large data sets. Okay, if you are looking at Singapore data, you can look at data.gov.sg. Or if you want to work on more international data, you can look at Kaggle. Okay, so I'll show you how it looks like. Okay, where is my .sg? Okay, so this is data from government. It has more than 5,000 data sets across 70 government agencies. Okay, these are different categories. For example, I may want to look at education, right? Because I'm doing education. We have more than 300 data sets. Okay, the first one is employment survey from all our universities, right? And you can download this as a CSV file. So if I click this, he actually already downloaded it. You open this, you will see all the data here, right? So it's a not small data set. Okay, this is like when you get familiar with pandas, you can use large data sets to test your knowledge. Okay, so this is local data. International data, you can use this Kaggle. Okay. The good thing about Kaggle is you can look at data sets. You can also look at the code from other people. Okay, so for example, if I click the data set, I'll send the URL in the chat in a while, okay? If I look at the data set, okay, let's choose education again. Which one is interesting? Okay, student performance prediction. Wow, that sounds intriguing, right? Okay, so you have the data set. Again, you can download the data set from here. Right? It's totally free. You just need to register an account. Okay, there it has some information about the data set. Okay, the good thing is you can also look at the code. So this code is like some other people who are also learning pandas. They will work on some code and they just share it on the website. Okay, so let's look at the first one, student performance prediction. Okay, this is that notebook. You can see they also use pandas, right? NumPy is another library. We don't have time to cover today. Okay, so you can see that they have, okay, I should draw a very nice scatter chart. Okay, so you can learn from the coding of other people as well. So PLT, this is called a scatter chart. So it will just draw a dot on the different data points, right? It also specify X label, Y label, title, and then show the chart. Okay, so let me send you these two URLs. Oh, I don't have it. I didn't put it in my chat. Okay, you can just, it's very short. Okay, so data.gov.sg or kaggle.com. Okay, this is where you can download large set of data. Okay, so far so good. Any other questions? I really love to have more questions. Okay, okay, good. So the next steps, right? This workshop is like very short, 1.5 hours, and we are doing this together. If you want to continue learning, I have my social media. I also have my Udemy courses. Okay, and a couple of days ago, I also created my WhatsApp community so that I have more ways to support the people in my community. Okay, so it depends on which platform you are more comfortable with. You can choose like which platform you want to follow to get more tutorials. Okay, so for TikTok and YouTube, I do tutorials every week. Okay, I can also put put the URL in the chat. Let me do this. Okay. If you want to just, click the URL, it's easier, right? Okay, so I send the URL in the chat. You can also click the URL or just copy paste the URL to somewhere, to a text editor or somewhere so that you can take a look later on. Okay, just feel free to see which way works best for you. Okay, good. Can I go to the next slide? Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay. And of course, if you are based in Singapore, we have face-to-face lessons. Okay, it's offered by Majors Institute, and I will be your trainer. Okay, so the title of this course is called Data Analysis and Wrangling with Python. It is SkillsFuture funded. Right? If you are a citizen or PR, these are all the grants and the credits that you can use. So you only pay a fraction. Okay. Okay, so what are we going to cover in this course? We have 4 major topics and a bonus topic. Okay, so the first topic will help you to build a foundation in Python. Okay, not just what we covered today, like the three data types and the important library. There are more that we need to learn if you committed to learn Python, right? Okay, so we'll build a foundation first. Then second module is about data analysis. So we'll look at the insights in a table format. That's what we call data analysis. Okay, once we are able to do that, we will move on to look at data visualization. That means I will draw different charts, right? Imagine if you want to talk to your manager or your senior manager, they probably are not interested in those raw data. We need to draw the charts to sell a story to them. Okay, and lastly, this is also a very what separates us from other courses is we are going to include a project. Okay, so if you go through the first three modules, you will be able to know how to do data analysis and visualization, right? But in real life, if I give you a fresh data set, do you know how to do it? Are you ready to apply what you have learned in the past three modules? Not everyone, right? Okay, so that's why we have the first module, which is the project. We'll give you a data set. Then you will decide how you want to analyze and what kind of charts you want to draw. But of course, I will always be there to guide you along the process. Okay, and lastly, we have also this bonus topic where we will share more ways of leveraging AI, right? Because I mean, AI is developing so fast. There's no point that I just ignore AI. I just do all the work by myself. Okay, you won't be able to win in the job market. So the most important thing is we have the knowledge and we also know how to use AI to accelerate our learning and also to accelerate our work, right? I want to be more productive in my work. That's how I stand out in my company. Okay, so this will be the 5 topics. Okay. Okay, so in terms of the dates for the course, it will be 5 Saturdays. Okay, so all these are Saturdays. Okay, so from 12th of April, you see there's a gap here, right? From 3rd of May to 17 is actually 2 weeks. That's for your project. Okay, but of course, I will be always available. You can always like call me or drop me a text, right? If you need any help. Okay. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can contact our course advisor. Her name is Mel. Okay. So it's melling@majors.edu.sg. Okay. Or even if you don't have questions now, I would suggest that you take down this email address. Okay. I'll put it in the chat as well. Okay. Okay. So the email address is also in the chat. Okay. She will probably reach out to you as well to understand how you feel about the workshop or any other questions you have. Okay. Okay. So another thing that I really want to share with you is, and it's also a question that I've been asked many times, right? There are actually many tools to do data analytics, right? It's not just Python. Python is just one of the options. There are many other options. So what is the advantage of using Python, or what are the potential disadvantages, right? Okay, and I know that my answer will be biased because I like Python so much. So instead of I try to answer the question, I will ask, okay, GPT. Oh, it's finally back. Did we have our data set? Oh, it also give us code for data set. Okay, never mind. Okay, so instead of I answer the question, I will ask GPT. Okay, so you can ask GPT to list down the top 5 tools for data analytics. Oh, comparison between Tableau and Java. Okay, let's ask GPT. Okay, we ask GPT to give us the top 5 tools for data analytics. Okay, include their pros and cons in a table format. Okay, let's see what it's going to give us. Okay, so I'm looking at the question. Java, usually I seldom see companies use Java to do data analytics, but Tableau is really like very popular nowadays. Okay, I think Tableau will be one of the top five tools. Okay, let's see what are the top five. Okay, while we're waiting for the response from ChatGPT, if you have any questions, feel free to type in the chat. Oh, okay, now it's here. Hey, how come okay, I think it hasn't finished generating yet. Okay, why the format is so weird? Okay, let's ask Claude. Okay. Okay, the AI is not very helpful today. Okay, you can see it's generating, right? Okay, the first one is Python, pros and cons. Oh, it even listed R. That's interesting. Tableau is definitely in the list. Power BI and SQL. Oh, Claude is working better than. GPT is not really. Okay, let's try again. GPT, I like GPT is because of the format. Okay, but somehow the format is a bit off today. Okay, now try again. Okay. In the meantime, we can look at Claude. Oh, okay. So let me make it bigger. Okay. So first one is Python. The pros is extremely flexible and powerful. It's free, right? It has all kinds of libraries. It's great for automation. Okay, definitely. If you think about the old way, like Excel used to be very popular in terms of data analytics, right? But the good thing about Python, one good thing about Python is you can automate because everything is the code. So I can actually schedule the code to run maybe at 12 o'clock midnight every day or the last day of the month. So you can automate everything. You don't have to, once you get your code right, you just run it regularly. It's fully automated. Okay. It's integrated with machine learning and workflows. Yes. Okay. Now, what are the cons of using Python? Steep learning curve compared to Excel. Yes. Okay. It requires programming knowledge. Okay. They require additional tools. No, maybe for interactive. Okay. But so far we don't really need to do interactive. Most of the time we need to generate a chart that really suits the scenario. Okay. So R is not very popular. Oh, let's look at Tableau. Tableau is intuitive, drag and drop, right? Visual is good, excellent for business intelligence. Okay. The cons, of course, you need to pay money if you want the full functionality. There is also a free version, but it's quite limited. Okay. Limited advanced statistics. Okay, because what you can do with Tableau is whatever is available there, right? If happen to be that my data set, I need to analyze it from a very special perspective, you won't be able to use Tableau. Okay. I have another question. What is the best way to learn the different types of libraries for different purpose? Okay, there are many libraries in Python. I would say that we don't need to learn all the different libraries, okay? Because we also won't be able to learn all the different libraries. And for data analytics, so we just need to use pandas and matplotlib library. If you are the type that you want to have a clear picture, right? You can do pandas. Okay, then you can just go to the pandas website. Okay, documentation. Okay, then you can look at, okay, for the beginner, you may want to look at getting started all this, right? Then once you get more experience, you can just look at the API reference. These are the different methods that you can use. Okay, so if I do input output, right, these are all the things under input output like read CSV, read table. right? Read JSON, you can use JSON as well. Then data frames, right? Okay, let's see if we have the group by. Okay, data frame info is what we used just now, right? Okay, shape. Okay. Okay, so these are all the things you need to you can use, but I would say that no need to try to memorize everything. Okay, especially now with AI. So whenever you want to write something, if you are not sure, you can check with AI, right? You ask AI, if I want to do this, it will give you, it may not give you the code 100% correct, but usually it will definitely give you the correct methods, the correct function that you can use. Okay, so this is pandas, or if you want to look at matplot library. Okay, so okay, I'll just make it like this. Okay, matplot library. So you can get you started, all kinds of examples, your reference, documentation. Okay, so you have all kinds of information. Okay, but feel free to use AI to get started. There's another question. I heard R is good when working with statistic graphs. Okay, according to Claude, R seems to, let's look at R. Okay, specifically for statistics, yes. Okay, extensive statistics package and function. Yes, true. Okay. Yes, Brian, you are right. Okay, so R is good for statistics analysis. Okay. I think I will trust Claude. Okay, so the cons of R is it can be slower for certain operations. It's less general purpose than Python. Okay, so probably it's more for statistics analysis. Okay, so depends on if you work in a company, depends on what kind of analysis your company wants to do. Okay, okay, let's see if, oh, okay, ChatGPT is really like giving up. Okay, you see all the pros and cons is supposed to all the pros in this column, all the cons in this column, and somehow it's all messed up. Okay, never mind. Let's use Claude. Okay, so far so good. Any other questions? No other questions? Okay, I think I'll just put my email address in the chat as well. Okay. Okay, I just put my email address in the chat. So if you have any questions, you can always send me an email. Question from Seren. What we see is running command line. Yes. Okay. How do we run the entire script? Oh, okay. If you want to run an entire script, I would see that the best tool is actually PyCharm. Okay, I can show you how it looks like. Okay, let me see my PyCharm. Okay, so PyCharm, there are two editions. One is professional edition. The other one is community edition. Okay, so don't do the professional, you need to pay money. Just use community edition. Okay, so this is another course I have. This is purely on Python. Okay, so what we do is, for example, okay, let me show you an example. If you want to run everything together, right, instead of each box, each box, each box, okay, then you can do like this. Okay, so this is a game that I teach my students. Usually I will teach teenagers to create games. Okay, you can see this is one file, shooter.py. Okay, and there are, okay, so it's everything is collapsed. So that's why you only see a few lines. Okay, and altogether there are about close to 400 lines. This is when you run the file. Okay, run a long script. Okay, but if you are just starting, I would suggest that use Google Colab first. Once you get familiar, then you can move on to PyCharm. Okay, is there a course for programming microcontrollers? Okay, this one I'll need to check with Mel. I'm not very sure. Okay, because even if there's such cost, it's not under me. Okay, so Rishan, I will check with Mel, then I will get back to you. Okay, it's my pleasure, Serene and Rishan. Any other questions? Okay, I don't see any other questions. Anyway, you also have my email address and Mel's email address. Okay, or you can join my WhatsApp community. So anything you have different ways to reach us. Okay, I hope you have learned a thing or two about data analytics today. And I also hope that you had a great time. Oh, it's my pleasure, Gil. Okay, I have one last slide for you. Okay, please have a wonderful weekend. Have a nice lunch and relax in the afternoon. Okay. By the way, as mentioned, I will upload the recording and the codes, the data I have to my social media. Okay, so you can try out later on. If you have any questions, just leave a comment under any of my videos. I will always answer every question. Thank you, Jayamoti. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Rishan. Have a wonderful